Today we are going to look at the connotations and denotations of words with similar meanings. What on earth do those words mean? Connotation and denotation. Well, let's start with the denotation. That is the literal meaning or the dictionary definition of a word. All words have a denotation, and some words can share a similar denotation. Connotation is the emotional association that a word has. Maybe it makes you think of something positive, maybe it invokes a negative feeling, and maybe some words are just neutral. They're not positive or negative. The reason we want to study the connotations and denotations of words is because understanding the connotation or the emotional attachment of words that have a similar denotation or definition can help us understand other authors' attitudes and also pinpoint how they are trying to influence us. Words can have similar denotations or definitions, but they can have different connotations, being positive, negative, or neutral. We can use context clues to help us determine what the connotation or the emotional attachment to a word is. Let's take a look at some examples together. Thinking about these two words, odor and fragrance. One of them is more positive, and one of them has a little bit more of a negative connotation. Which one do you think is positive, and which one do you think is negative? Well, they both have a similar denotation or a similar definition, meaning that they both have to do with the smell of an object. Fragrance has a more positive connotation. It's usually a sweet smell. It makes me think of flowers or perfume, whereas odor is a more negative connotation. It's usually something that smells bad, like the trash can or perhaps your feet. Are these words positive, negative, or neutral? The words question and interrogate. How would you label those two words? Well, they both have a similar denotation or definition of ask. Question is a little bit more neutral. You can ask or inquire about something without being positive or negative. However, interrogate is a little bit more of a negative connotation because it implies that the questions are asked forcefully or aggressively. It makes me think of maybe a detective interrogating me because I'm the suspect of a crime. That's never happened, by the way. All right, let's use those context clues to determine whether it's positive, negative, or a neutral connotation. Kara is very pushy when it comes to getting what she wants. Do you think that's more positive, negative, or neutral? Pushy. I agree. I would say it's a little bit negative. It kind of makes me feel like I would be standoffish and not want to work with her as much if she is being pushy with me. How about this word? It has a similar denotation, being assertive. Albert was politely assertive about his requests for equal pay. Is that positive, negative, or neutral? I would label this as having a positive connotation. Notice the context clue in the word right before it. Politely. You can be assertive in a polite way as opposed to being pushy, which is usually just trying to get your way. All right, now we are going to use a couple of sentences and decide which word would be best based on the connotation that they bring. Pedro thinks that his mother's homemade bread is delicious or edible when he eats it with his favorite jam. Which of those two words would you fill in the blank? Delicious or edible? I would choose delicious because it has a more positive connotation, whereas edible is neutral. So that means that tonight when you eat dinner, you can tell your mother that she cooked a delicious dinner, as opposed to saying, Mom, that was a very edible dinner. Let's try this sentence. Jody is so immature or young that she still hasn't started school yet. What would you choose for this sentence? Immature or young? Oh, there's the bell. I would choose young. That has a much more positive connotation. Well, kind of neutral actually, a more neutral connotation, whereas immature is negative. It is blatantly negative. If somebody is immature, that's usually not a compliment. Barry will tell the companies to clean up their pollution offenses. Tell is a more neutral connotation. What word could we substitute that has a negative connotation? If we replace the word tell with the word demand, it tells us more about his behavior. Is he being bossy? Does he have the authority to demand? Barry will demand the companies clean up their pollution offenses. Or what if we substitute the word advise? How would that change the connotation? Barry will advise the companies to clean up their pollution offenses? Advise seems a little bit more positive to me. Let's look at these three words. Worried, concerned, or distressed. What is the connotation of each of those words? Positive, negative, or neutral? How about this one? Strong, forceful, and unyielding. What do you think? Which one is positive? Which one is negative? And which one is neutral? All right, so this is the end of our instructional video today. You are going to move on to your assignment that looks like this. You will have the words on the left-hand side, for example, smiled, grinned, and smirked. Your job is to tell me what is the general denotation. What do all three of those words have in common? And then over on the very right side, tell me which of those words is positive, which of those words is neutral, and which of those words has a little bit more of a negative connotation. Do your best. If you need to rewatch this video, you can. And remember that we can always check with a group mate later if we're confused about something. Thanks for taking the time.